Today's gonna be absolute carnage. We've got Souttar's contract frozen midair while Rangers spiral in boardroom chaos. Rodgers dropping a striker bomb that no Celtic fan wanted to hear. Jack Butland's future hanging by a thread after a brutal twist at Ibrox. Love the madness of Scottish football. Hit subscribe. We bring the chaos every day. No filters, just facts and fire. John Souttar, the big lad at the back for Rangers, has put his contract talks on ice. Why? Well, Ibrox is currently more chaotic than a toddler's birthday party in a wind tunnel. The club's in the middle of a takeover, with the American football folk from 49ers Enterprises sniffing around. Yes, those 49ers, the ones who know more about shoulder pads than shin pads. And with the top brass still sorting out who's actually in charge, it seems Souttar's new deal is somewhere near the bottom of the to-do list, possibly underneath find the remote for the tactics screen. Now, to be fair to the 28-year-old defender, he's not kicked up a fuss. He's been solid for club and country, doing his job while letting the grown-ups figure things out in the boardroom. He said he's just focusing on football, which is probably the most sensible thing anyone said at Rangers in weeks. But here's where things get spicy. The club's already made a habit of letting big-name players walk away for free. We're talking Alfredo, Morelos and Ryan Kent, gone. Nada in return. Zilch. That kind of business model makes your local charity shop look ruthless. So you think, wouldn't you? They'd be desperate not to repeat the same mistake. Yet here we are again, with one of their most reliable defenders running down the clock. And on the pitch? Oh, it's been entertaining. In the way that watching someone try to juggle flaming torches on a unicycle is entertaining. They've pulled off a brilliant win over Celtic, edged past Fenerbahce on penalties, and squeezed out a 4-3 comeback thriller at Dundee. But there's a big old red flag waving in the wind. They keep going 2 goals down before the caffeine kicks in. 5 times in the last 7 games. That's not a strategy. That's a stress test for the fans. Souttar's admitted the defending's not been up to scratch and says it's time to fix it, and fast. Because we're Hibs next, and then a Europa League quarterfinal against Athletic Club. Any more early gifts at the back could turn those recent highs into another familiar low. So the man himself is suspended for the big European night, left to bite his nails in the stand. And while he's playing the team first card, you just know he'd rather be out there smashing into Spanish forwards. Should Rangers really be risking losing another key player for free? Or is it time the board stopped chasing American dreams and started securing the future of their best talent before it's too late? Let me know what you think in the comments, but keep it civil, or at least entertaining. Brendan Rodgers has spoken, and it's not quite the rallying cry Celtic fans were hoping for ahead of the summer window, is it? After all the noise in January about the lack of a new striker, Rodgers has now come out and all but said, "Relax, lads, we've got Maeda." That's right. The lightning-quick Japanese workhorse who started life on the left wing has apparently done such a good job through the middle that the gaffer's now leaning towards buying a new winger rather than a proper center forward. Because we all know how easy it is to find a winger who scores 30 goals a season, don't we? Now, fair play to Maeda. He's been brilliant, industrious, explosive, and clearly not allergic to the back of the net. But let's not kid ourselves. He's not a traditional number 9. He thrives on chaos, not holding up play with his back to goal or bullying center halves. And if Adam Ida, a £9.5 million striker, is still plan B, then that raises eyebrows wider than Rodgers' old touchline celebrations at Parkhead. There's also the small matter of European ambition. Because let's be honest, if Celtic want to make any kind of dent in the Champions League next season, relying on a converted winger as your main striker might not cut it against the big boys. You don't win those nights with versatility alone. You need firepower, presence, and someone who lives for the 6-yard box. Now, Rodgers' comments also seem to cool down the long-standing links to the likes of Matthias Visgarden and David Strelic, who were supposed to be the answers up front. And with fresh links to Michel Ange Balikwisha, it's looking more and more like the plan is width, not teeth. Are Celtics showing ambition by backing Maeda as the main striker, or are they settling for good enough when the fans are crying out for something more ruthless up top? But bring your A game, because this one's bound to split opinions like a Saturday night VAR decision at Ibrox. Jack Butland, the man who was supposed to be Rangers' safe pair of gloves, finds himself at a bit of a crossroad. He's been between the sticks all season, and while he's had his moments of brilliance, proper fingertip stuff, commanding his box like a seasoned pro, there's been a fair bit of head-scratching too. Conceding 26 goals in 25 league matches isn't catastrophic, but it's not exactly title-winning form either, especially when some of those goals look like they came from a game of 5-a-side at the local leisure center. And let's not forget the 3 he let in at Dundee. That match was pure football chaos with a last-gasp winner and more twists than a supermarket sandwich. Now, fair's fair, Butland's not solely to blame. The defense in front of him has, at times, looked like it was put together by committee after a pub quiz. There's no real leadership, no rock-solid presence, and the inconsistency is contagious. Stevie Clifford from Four Lads Had a Dream made a solid point. Maybe Butland's dip in form is just the ripple effect of a shaky backline that leaks chances like a colander. But here's the catch. Rangers are aiming for silverware and European progress, not moral victories and not his fault excuses. You don't want a keeper who might come good if the defense improves. You want someone who's bulletproof, regardless of the chaos in front of him. And with the San Francisco 49ers now sniffing around the ownership, fans are expecting upgrades, not uncertainty. There's still hope, of course. Butland's only 32, still peak years for a goalkeeper, and a revamped defense could be exactly what he needs. But if he continues to blow hot and cold next season, the board may be tempted to look for someone younger, hungrier, and, let's be honest, cheaper to keep on a clean sheet bonus. Is Jack Butland still the man to lead Rangers from the back? Or is it time the club moved on from a keeper whose best days might already be behind him? Should he stay or should he go? And keep it clean, unlike some of those Goldman scrambles we've seen lately? Right, here's a classic case of champagne wages meeting an earn brew budget. And it's giving Celtic a bit of a recruitment headache this summer. Jeffrey Schlupp, the Crystal Palace utility man turned Celtic stopgap, is reportedly keen to stay at Parkhead after arriving on deadline day. But there's a catch the size of Hampton Park. He's on around £60,000 per week down south. And let's be honest, that kind of wage makes accountants at Lennoxtown break out in hives. Now, to be fair, Schlupp hasn't been a passenger. He's played more than expected, filled in reliably, and hasn't looked out of place in green and white. But he's also 32, and if all goes to plan, he's not even expected to be the main man at left back next season. That job, if the whispers are true, is being reserved for Kieran Tierney, whose return would send the fan base into nostalgic overdrive. Former Hibs winger Jamie Murphy has basically said what everyone else is thinking. Paying top dollar for a backup is a luxury even a well-run club like Celtic would struggle to justify. The club's whole financial model relies on discipline, smart spending, and not being lured into Premier League-style wage traps. That's how they've stayed dominant while still making tidy profits from the likes of Hoda, Van Dijk, and Dembele. But here's the thing, Schlupp is out of contract this summer, so there's no transfer fee to worry about, which gives Celtic some wiggle room. If the Ghanaian international is willing to bring his demands back down to earth, he could still end up being a savvy bit of business. He offers experience, versatility, and could save the club millions if he takes on that deputy role behind Tierney. Still, this is the kind of deal that tests Celtic's self-control. Do they stick to their guns, or bend the rules slightly to keep a player who could be useful, even if not essential? Should Celtic break their wage structure to sign a high-earning backup like Jeffrey Schlupp, or is sticking to their financial principles more important than short-term depth? Would this be smart squad building, or a dangerous step towards reckless spending? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.